In a world where men make songs about ponies, comes the Brony Musician Directory interview.
Salutations, Zephy here. I'm doing an interview for the Brony Musicians Directory and FimMusic website. Today, joining me, I have 4everfreebrony, or Garrison.
Hello.
And 4everfreebrony is known for some things like the recent Chant of Immortality, which won the #1 spot in November for Pony Music, and also popular songs such as Emerald Eyes, Chasing Fate, Laughter, Winterfall Over the Acres, and some other really great tunes. So we'll be talking with this Brony musician who, personally for me, kind of flew under the radar for a while, but I just recently discovered him, and he's definitely going places. So, how did you discover the show and get into the fandom?
It was introduced to me by a friend. He is currently out of town and he won't be back till, I think, April. But I thought he was a little crazy at first. But after about I don't know, maybe 2 months or so, after he introduced it to me, I decided to watch it on my own and see what all the fuss was really about. And so, I don't know what caught me, but I was hooked ever since.
Yeah, it seems to be the story with a lot of people. To get a friend to bring them in.
Yeah.
So, did you get into the music right away with that, or did you wait a while?
Oh, I waited a while.
So if you could describe what your music is, like in 3 words, what would those words be?
Life, dreams, and more dreams. That's 4 words. But
So a very surrealistic and wholesome kind of approach to things.
yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, and I notice a thing that's very unique with your music is it does have that very wholesome, very musical feeling to it, as opposed to a lot of like more synthetic-y sounding stuff that's out there today. So who are your main influences in that kind of wholesome approach?
Well, for that kind of approach, I'd say, well, I grew up listening to what my mom and dad always listened to. So that's like the 70s and 60s, 70s, and 80s stuff. So that's mostly where I found my
Your roots.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, learned from all kinds of patterns in older songs, and I taught myself the guitar. Took 10 years of piano lessons.
Right on.
So piano lessons and old music. So and my parents as well.
So what are some of your favorite like songs or artists or albums that you used to listen to, and even now?
Oh, Boston is my favorite artist. I'll say that. If I'm gonna go for a favorite pony song, though, it's got to be "Good Girl" by Dasha and the Living Tombstone.
Yeah, that's a good one, definitely.
Yeah, just the most professionally recorded I've ever heard out of the fandom.
Yeah, it had that very, very crisp feeling to it, definitely. Yeah, I remember one of my the first times I ever listened to one of your songs a while back was the Muse Marzipan Madness parody, which I thought was pretty fun. So, are you a big Muse fan at all?
I do like Muse. There's a lot of their stuff that I really don't like, but I thought that the idea just hit me, and when I started singing the syllables of Marzipan, Mascarpone, Meringue Madness, I realized that it was just as many as were sung in Muse's Madness. I thought it was just perfect.
Yeah, and that was definitely a very cool and interesting adaptation that I never would have imagined just coming out. But it's definitely cool. So what do you use in terms of instruments and DAWs and VS2s to actually make music?
Well, I use Ableton Live 9, and let's see, the guitar that I use mostly, I use a Laguna. It's a Sunburst, and it's got my initials on it, but It's got 4 pickups. I don't really know what else to call it. Really, it just says Laguna on the head.
It's a guitar. It's got strings and it plays.
Yeah. See, but also I got if I could use it, I have this Stellar brand. It's an off-brand, but it's kind of it's very similar to a Les Paul, but it currently needs some fixing in its wiring, so it's kind of broken right now.
What kind of microphones do you use to record voice and guitar then?
Okay, so the one that I'm using currently right now, even to talk on this, I use a C1 Behringer. Yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it, Behringer.
And that's Behringer. So Behringer that's not a USB mic, is it? That's a condenser studio, right?
It's a condenser mic. Yeah.
So what kind of interface do you use to plug that from that mic into your computer?
The interface. I use what's called a UX2. It's a Line 6 product. Just basically, I don't know. It allows anything that makes sound into the computer.
Those UX6 look really nifty. They're kind of a weird design to them, but they look pretty cool.
Is that the one with the keyboard thingy on it?
It has like the big knobs, like old looking knobs and things like that. Like I use a Scarlett 2i2, which is just an extremely boring looking interface. It's got a nice red color to it though. So of your musics that you've done using all these tools, what are some of your personal favorites that you have done?
My favorite songs that I've done so far are I'd say Emerald Eyes, Chant of Immortality, and I don't really know other than those two. Yeah, those would probably be my 2 favorites. Everybody really likes them.
And speaking of Emerald Eyes, it seems that you do quite a few Applejack songs. So is it safe to assume that Applejack is your favorite character to write for?
To write for, yeah, I guess so.
Because it feels like musicians kind of have their one favorite character it's just easy for them to write for.
Yeah, she's probably I know. I don't know what to say. She's just a very simple character. Some people say that she's too simple though, and that's why they say that she's a background pony. But
personally, yeah, I personally really like that about Applejack because it gives you room to expand your own version of Applejack, and it gives you a lot of wiggle room, and it's not all spoon-fed to you.
Exactly.
And that's what I like about Applejack. And also I feel like she kind of matches with your wholesome, folky kind of tone, obviously.
Yeah.
So that's another plus.
Yep.
So it's kind of a genre that we don't see a lot of in this fandom, is that kind of folk. I mean, there's obviously there's a good deal, but it's not something that's super common. So do you have any tips for other folk musicians of the same kind of genre that you do, and anything that could help them with getting into the music scene?
Yeah, I'll say this. Don't be afraid to use cheesy lyrics, because if you can find a good tune for them, people won't even care. I mean, that's how What Does the Fox Say got famous, for Pete's sake. Those are the most cheesy lyrics I've ever heard in my life, and yet it's like the most popular thing on YouTube today. I'd say if you're gonna write a folk song, you usually use I usually try to keep my words very simple. If you look in both Emerald Eyes and Chasing Fate, they're not exactly straight to the point, but they're very, very simple, and there's not too many words in each verse.
You're kind of letting the lyrics move out of the way so that the actual music can shine through.
Exactly.
I noticed that you say on your description something about having a techie friend. So do you have someone who helps you with your music process?
Well, sort of. I let him upload my my videos most of the time, and he was the one who kind of sort of reminded me of this show.
And does he do anything of himself, or is he just kind of help you out?
Oh, he likes to write music as well. He hasn't posted anything yet, though. But well, he's helped. He's worked on a couple songs with Skybolt before. Do you know Skybolt?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, he's the one who does the Honest trailers.
Cool. So, and about that music process. So, when does an idea kind of strike you and, get passionate about a song, or maybe you just kind of sit down and write? Like, how does your music process pan out?
Well, sometimes it just comes to me when I'm, I don't know. It's just when I wake up or something from a dream, or something. Like the idea for what was it? That parody that I did of Dirty Little Secret. That was quite interesting. I could almost take the words from Babseed and put them almost in the exact same order. Well, almost in the exact same phrasing into the song Dirty Little Secret in it. And people were like, whoa, that fits surprisingly well. Random life stuff, I guess, is mostly what inspires me to write music.
Do you make chord progressions and things and then add lyrics later? Or do you kind of do something else?
It varies. Sometimes I write the lyrics first, and then I write the chords, or I do it the other way around.
Would you like to do any shout-outs of Brony or otherwise musicians or any people, artists that you would like to give a little more exposure to if you can?
I like to say Slifstorm. He's an amazing musician.
Nice guy, too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We're working on a couple things. And also Giggly Maria. She's a very good singer, and she can actually play the guitar as well.
She's collabed with you a few times, right?
Yeah. My two newest ones, actually. It has her voice in there, and she did a fantastic job on both of them. It was my cover of cover of A Final Twilight by Matthew Mosier, and my original song Flutter. That one was very poppy, and that's more poppy than I ever like to go, but it was still fun to make.
Yeah, it feels kind of like people who do like that kind of guitar and vocal approach with the wholesomeness are kind of always afraid of getting a bit too poppy. Jeff Burgess mentioned that in an interview that Freewave did with him the other day, how he's always conscious of how poppy his music is.
Well, I listened to his some of his recent stuff. Let's see, like the Everything Staged one.
Yeah.
That didn't sound poppy, and what was it? Exclusive Royal Candlelight playset. That one.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was funny.
It's some very fun stuff.
Those didn't sound poppy to me at all. I liked them, especially the videos. Those were pretty funny. So,
are there any more shout outs that you'd like to give?
I'd like to give a shout out to the artist who does all the artwork for my songs. Dragon Wolf Rook. She does a very fantastic job. She's done art for all my recent songs, starting at the cover of my Cadence that I did.
So she does completely original stuff that you ask her for, then?
Exactly. I just say, hey, here's a song. What comes to mind when you hear this? And then she just whips something up. Bam.
That's very, very convenient. So for any other musicians out there who might be interested, does she do commissions?
I think so, yeah.
All right, yeah. So if people want to look for commissions of artists, check out on his YouTube channel that he has linked.
Yeah.
All right. So the final question, of course, and the most important by far, is who is best pony?
Fluttershy.
Right on. Fluttershy is best pony. You heard it here first. All right. So thank you for doing this interview. It was very nice to talk to you. And we hope to see much more music and great stuff coming from your channel. If you haven't heard of 4everfreebrony or been checking them out, then you've seriously been missing out. And I would highly advise you to go check them out immediately.
Thank you.
So, with that, I'll be signing off.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, I guess I'll mention that. Well, you can mention if you want, but I'm working on an album that has more direct references to the show, and an album that, if you couldn't really tell, if you didn't know the story behind each song, then you couldn't even tell that any of them are pony songs. For example, like Chasing Fate, one of my other. So it's one of my newer ones, I guess. I try to write all of my stuff like that, just because that way I can share it with everyone. But there are some that I just like to be more silly with and just go for direct references. So yeah.
2, 3 is family. There's a we, not just a me.